little stitch here, and a little stitch there. Soon enough, oh yes, soon enough, the time of man comes to a close. We were a willful and indignant pox upon this earth. But it wasn't all bad now, was it? A while it has taken, and so many failed experiments along the way. But truth be told, some of them were quite interesting. Cow and man, an interesting but not very likely match. But you, oh yes, you will combine very well indeed.
Welcome back. Today I bring you SCP-3199, Humans, Refuted. Please remember to subscribe, and be sure to check out Part 1 first. Chen, Kloss, and Marissa sat in the hotel room. All appeared deep in thought, pondering the events of the previous night. Chen looked up. Am I the only one who hardly got any sleep last night?
You're not alone on that, Agent Chen. The name Rebirther just kept running through my mind all night. What kind of a name even is that?
I've been thinking of that too. We don't have much to go on yet, clearly, except for that undead beef.
Ferguson also mentioned experiments.
Right, so there's someone out there conducting strange experiments involving humans and animals.
I think it's time we called in some backup and searched that forest.
Agreed. Something tells me that this Rebirther isn't going to be easy to find.
They moved through the forest, looking for any traces of where this so-called Rebirther could be. All Ferguson had been able to tell them was that he supposedly had a shack deep in the forest. We've been out here for days. Nothing's turning up.
Let's give it until the end of the day. If still nothing turns up, we'll call it off and rethink our next step in the morning.
Chen nodded his head in agreement. In the distance, Marissa knelt down by the river. The waterfall created a beautiful backdrop for the idyllic Irish scenery. The water must be amazing, she thought to herself. She took a sip of the fresh water as she looked at her reflection in it. Something glimmered and reflected under the water. She reached in and pulled it out. It was a small Tupperware container. From within, she could see a brown paste of some sort, and something else. Something was inside the paste. She opened the container.
Oh my. Dr. Kloss, Agent Chen, you need to see this.
Chen and Kloss came rushing over.
What is it? What did you find?
She handed over the container. The brown substance had partially solidified. Within it was a small chicken carcass.
Any luck?
Not yet. We searched the entire area surrounding the river, but nothing's turning up. It's getting late. Maybe we should come back in the morning.
Let's give it another hour and then turn in.
Roger that. It was closing in on 4 a.m. The men were tired, and since finding the chicken carcass, no new evidence had presented itself. They heard a yell in the distance. Chen ran towards where the scream had come from. It was near the waterfall. He saw an agent sitting in the water. What is it? What's happened?
Sorry, Zat. Just lost my footing.
Well, get up then and get yourself dried off.
Yes, sir.
The agent stood up, the water splashing off his head. He stopped and looked back through the waterfall. Agent. Agent!
Sir, you're not going to believe this. You sure about this?
Saw it myself.
Well, all right. Let's go have a look then.
They walked into the waterfall, arms stretched out before them. Kloss wiped the water from his eyes. Behind the waterfall was a cave. Gaps in the rock above allowed moonlight to come streaming in. A small, dry island stood in the center of the cave, and upon it, a small shack. It was made from rotted wood and bits of old steel, derelict and barely standing. Strewn around it were bits of chicken wire. It looked abandoned. Chen looked back through the waterfall. Good job, Agent. Be sure to fall over in the right place again next time. They moved towards the house slowly, not sure what to expect. They reached the front door. It hung slightly ajar, the top hinge broken. Chen lifted the door off its hinges and dropped it to the side. The room inside was barren. except for a table in the back and a mattress on the floor. The room smelled putrid. Chen searched the room, while Kloss headed straight to the table in the back.
If you're reading this, then lucky you. 1 millionth hour from not, and it'll be fun and wonderful. Human DNA will give birth to a new era, a stronger era. I haven't much time. I envy you. New life will be a part of life from now on.
Kloss looked up at Chen. A creak. Chen looked to the corners of the room. Again, another creak of the wood. They weren't alone. Chen motioned to Kloss to keep quiet. Through the broken boards of the wall, something moved, casting shadows into the room. Kloss bent to put the journal down. His eyes focused on the wall as he laid the book down. He froze. Chen's hand went to his weapon. The wall burst apart, and an enormous creature came crashing into the room. What the The creature turned its head to look at Chen. It screamed and raised its arms. Chen drew his weapon, 2 shots to the head. It stood for a moment, then collapsed to the ground.
What the hell was that?
I don't know, but... Chen stopped, mid-sentence. The body of the creature twitched. Chen raised his gun at the creature again. It twitched and spasmed. From out its mouth popped a huge egg. I'm done. This is nuts.
Get a quarantine team in here ASAP!
A crack formed on the side of the egg. Too late. Get out of here. Chen shot at the egg, but the bullet bounced off harmlessly. Oh, crap. Kloss looked around the room and then through the open door.
Push it into the water!
What? Why?
Just do as I say! Help me!
They got behind the egg and started pushing, but it was too heavy. What the hell is this thing made of?
Grab the carpet, let's pull it out.
They pulled the egg through the doorway and onto the edge of the small island. Just as they reached the edge, the egg cracked and another chicken monstrosity popped out. This one, still an adolescent, but still half the size of the previous one.
Chen, get in the water now!
Kloss leaped forward into the water as Chen rolled himself in. The creature sprang forth after them. It hit the water and immediately stopped moving. It just floated, looking at them.
Chen, hold up. It stopped. The water. That's why the Rebirther built its home here. The water somehow paralyzes it.
Do you think he knew we would find this place?
I doubt it. We've had a wide perimeter set up for days now. We would have seen him coming. I don't think he's been here. Maybe he's even abandoned it.
So, what's our next move?
Get this thing back to the lab and set up surveillance here. I don't want him slipping through our fingers if he comes back.
The chicken monster was laid out on the floor. It was enormous, at almost 3 meters tall and close to 800 kilograms.
You see this?
Kloss pointed towards its throat.
It seems each one of these things is born already pregnant. Though they might not be hard to kill, the eggs are incredibly resilient.
I could see these guys causing some serious containment issues.
Definitely. They also reproduce constantly, like they're trying to fill an empty space, which is perhaps why they stopped when they hit the water. It might have appeared to them as a space that was already completely filled.
An agent came rushing in.
So, we've detected activity at the shack. He's back. Let's go.
They came through the waterfall once again. Up ahead, they saw a man sitting on the ground, in front of the shack.
Are you the one they call the Rebirther?
The man smiled.
I've seen it come to be. A new epoch. A new species.
So, you created those chicken monstrosities?
Brought them to be, birthed to say.
And that growing meat? The boys?
In order to make an omelet, a few eggs must break in the process. You see, they were but samples to my masterpiece. You don't realize. But the end of man is now. I've served my master well. Oh, how I envy you. So much time still. Well, perhaps.
The man bit down on something in his mouth. He slumped over, dead. Poison pill. Probably cyanide. What did he mean by the end of man? And who's his master? An agent came running over.
Sir, the DNA samples you ordered have just come in. And there's chicken DNA and, well, something else. So, it's a hybrid. Spit it out. Hybrid what? Chicken and cow? No, sir. They're hybrid chickens and humans.
SCP-3199 denotes a species of sapient Category 5 biological entities of currently indeterminable origin, though tissue samples indicate the presence of silky chicken, chimpanzee, stoat, mussel, adder, and human DNA. Instances of 3199 are hairless, stained with a thin layer of albumin, and stand at an average of 2.9 meters. Weight averages 780 kilos for a matured instance, and 360 kilos for a hatchling. The necks of 3199 appear dislocated and are capable of twisting approximately 340 degrees, presumably due to the nature of 3199's reproductive cycle. Instances of 3199 have been observed producing large eggs of an off-white coloration and rubbery appearance. These eggs pass through the entity's stomach, esophagus, and eventually out via the mouth, followed by a viscous red substance, first thought to be a form of placenta. Chemical breakdown has determined it to be a highly corrosive material. 3199 shows extreme distress throughout the process, with personnel describing the sound as not dissimilar to a scream. Presumably, due to a biologically ingrained method of avoiding extinction, 3199 produces its eggs to fill available space. This anomalous property currently has no known limits, and as a result may pose an LK-class species transmutation scenario. Termination of 3199 can be performed with relative ease. However, a complete eradication is currently impossibly difficult, as all instances of 3199 carry one egg inside their stomach, ensuring survival for at least one member of their species at all times. All live instances of 3199 are to be contained on Site-114, within a Keter humanoid containment chamber, the walls of which should be coated in approximately 2 cm thick, acid-resistant steel. 2 meters of empty space are to be allocated between this chamber and secondary containment. Secondary containment consists of suspending all live instances of 3199 inside a solid block of strong, transparent substance, currently clear acrylic resin. This block is to be at a height of at least 3 meters, with one armed security guard stationed directly outside initial containment at all times. An 8-digit passcode can be obtained from the current Site-114 director in order to access the initial containment chamber and allow for close-up examination of 3199's behavior and appearance. CCTV equipment is, however, installed in one corner of the containment cell for remote observation.
Experimentation and scientific research are the tools that will further mankind. However, every step requires forethought and consideration, lest our morals be discarded and abominations created.
As always, have a care and remember to subscribe, like, and share, if you would. Until next time, farewell.